Dr. Susan Elizondo. I'm a plant-based optometrist out of Austin, Texas. And today my challenge for you is going to be to eat more carotenoid-rich vegetables. And we'll talk about how they reduce your risk for eye diseases like macular degeneration, glaucoma, and can slow down cataracts too. So why do they think these are so beneficial? Well, one of the reasons, or a couple of the reasons they do, is that these pigments are found in the back of the eye and they act as antioxidants, and they also help reduce inflammation. And some of the underlying causes of most eye disease out there are oxidative stress and inflammation, and they help to quench them both. And there are and this has been around for a while. There are several studies that talk about macular degeneration and carotenoid-rich vegetables. And when I say carotenoid-rich, I mean anything that is yellow, orange, red, or dark leafy green, pineapple, carrots, tomatoes. If it's a fruit or a vegetable and it's yellow, orange, red, and dark leafy green, go for it. Some people will sometimes say, well, what about egg yolks? And it's like, well, you know, kale has about 100 times more in the same amount than you would get in egg yolks. So go for the fruits or vegetables. They provide more for a smaller amount that you're eating. And for macular degeneration in particular, their effect is pretty massive. So there is a study that showed that patients that ate, and they look specifically at spinach or collard greens, but they ate 5 or more servings a week, reduced the risk of macular degeneration by about 86%, compared to those that ate leafy greens less than once a week. So that's a pretty huge amount. It's not like it's just a little impact. It's pretty big. And then the other disease that they've looked at as well is glaucoma. So that's a disease where you slowly go blind by tunnel vision. So you lose your peripheral vision first, and then it slowly moves in. And the same thing they found for glaucoma is carotenoid-rich vegetables are beneficial, and the more you have, the better off you do, with dark leafy greens being the big winners. And one of the reasons that they postulated, aside from their effect on oxidative stress and helping prevent inflammation, is that they're very nitrate rich, and so they help protect that endothelial lining of our blood vessels and help it function more normally over time. Because a lot of the things that you'll find with these patients that have diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, a lot of times it's not a disease alone. There are other systemic diseases that go with it. And so it's an overall systemic problem, but you get these localized manifestations with macular degeneration and glaucoma. And then the last disease that we'll talk about, or the last kind of eye symptom that we'll talk about, are cataracts. So cataracts are when that lens in your eye gets a little bit cloudier over time, and if you live long enough, everybody will get them. But there's a study out of Europe, the EPIC Oxford study, where they looked at health-conscious, non-diabetic individuals, about 30,000, and they found that as you go from a high meat eater, which is somebody that ate more than the size of a deck of cards of meat a day, to as you went from a high meat eater to moderate to low to pescatarian to vegetarian to vegan, that your cataract risk went down in a stepwise fashion until you're 40% less likely to get cataracts when you're vegan. And I guess I should say that you push off having to have cataract surgery longer when you're vegan because of the dietary change. And again, these were health-conscious individuals, so they weren't chowing down on oil-filled veggie dogs. And if you find that you have a hard time eating vegetables or getting it in your diet, one of the ways that I usually recommend getting in those carotenoid-rich vegetables is actually with a smoothie in the morning, so a green smoothie. And if you don't like veggies that much, I recommend starting with spinach. You pack the blender with 3/4 dark leafy greens to 1/4 fruit. I like to use really ripe bananas because I like stuff sweet. So I use 2 really ripe bananas, and I tend to put grapes in, or you can put blueberries or whatever fruit you tend to like and have on hand. Put a little bit of flaxseed, and then some water and almond milk if you want it creamier. And the more water you put, of course, the more liquidy it will be. You know, it's always best to chew your food and to eat it with the fiber fully intact. But if you know you're just starting out and you're trying to figure a way to switch over and to make it a little bit easier, I find that smoothie, I've never had a patient say they can't do a smoothie. They'll balk at all sorts of other things, but the smoothie, they're like, okay, I can try out the smoothie. And it usually ends up, because it's so mild, ends up being pretty tasty, and you get a ton of greens in. So that is my one tip, my one challenge is what you can do for yourself to improve your eye health is eat your carotenoid rich veggies, so anything yellow, orange, red, or dark leafy green.